just recently done the tour of the schools in the local Wicklow area with the Heineken Cup and the Pro 14 trophies. Trophies tour, Leinster Schools tour. And it got me thinking later on when I was, the question and answer sessions you'd have with national schools and so forth. And once they ask a few questions about the trophies, invariably go on to, I suppose, with not having any players there, they start asking individual questions about myself. Like, did I win the cup? Which obviously I didn't. What age I am? We dealt with that one. Do you like cheese? Random little question. But it also got somebody had asked, did I ever play? Which I had. And where did I play? I said it was Wicklow. Which set me thinking on where did I get my passion maybe, and my love for the game of rugby, which I still have at this stage and long after my playing career, how I am still trying to, with new generations, it's still a love of the game, and it's still a passion of the game. And I was thinking back myself over the last couple of days, where did I get my desire for? I didn't come from a rugby family at all. My dad's side of the family, none of them played real sport. My dad would, as a younger man, he would have been a hurler and probably a bit of athletics, but that was way back when. But I do remember, earliest memory I suppose, when my dad's brother, Frank, would call to the avenue, pick up my dad, and they would go off to Lansdowne Road to see, I suppose, a Five Nations match at those times, way back. But I was only probably in my 10, 12 years of age. I hadn't really great knowledge of the sport. You'd certainly sit down and watch it on the TV for the Five Nations, and probably 1973 the match that stands out is the Barbarians All Blacks, which probably was the one that really inspired us all, and probably we wanted to go and then try and find out about rugby. No such thing as a rugby ball in my little area. We played street soccer on the avenue where I was reared, and in school we would probably introduce the Gaelic games pretty quickly. So that was really all we had, and probably a local soccer team. You could go down and watch adults playing, but it wasn't so much for young boys at that stage. So then I do remember the first person that inspired me probably was a teacher that came into when I was in the old De La Salle in Wicklow Town Secondary School. I might have been in second year at the time, and a teacher called Mervyn Burns, who taught us geography. But he played rugby. He played at that time out of Wicklow. He might have played back in his younger days with Wanderers in Dublin. I'm not positive about that, but I do think that I remember that maybe in a story he told us. And he was the first one really to try and get the rugby going in our school. And first time I suppose I really picked up a rugby ball was under his, we say coaching at the time, loosely based, but bring a bunch of us out, throw a ball to us and see what we could do with it. And I suppose we were trying to think back at the heroes we'd watched on the telly, the Slatterys, the Mike Gibsons, maybe the Gerald Davies. If you had a bit of speed, you think of the West Wingers at the time were fantastic. And Gareth Edwards, all these guys that kind of stood out. So that was probably where I first got involved and first got my first taste of it. But unfortunately, within a couple of years, the De La Salle side, they decided they'd had enough of the rugby, so that was the end of that. And after that, it was just a matter of getting to know guys within the Wicklow Rugby Club. When I was finishing up in school, around 18 years of age, my next door neighbour, Peter Duffy actually, he was the first guy that I knew of our age group that was kind of playing the game. And his father was very much involved in the early days of the Wicklow Rugby Club, trying to get a clubhouse built and so forth. So it was Peter that probably dragged me along one day, because he knew I played a little bit in school. He was a year ahead of me in school. And I think our first game was out, if I remember rightly, out of the Beehive, with borrowed gear and nicks that was probably 3 times too big for me. And boots belonged to one of the guys. So going out and playing, as I call it, this is men's rugby. And us as young lads trying to keep up with these guys and seeing monstrous looking men. So that was my first start of the long journey that I now have and my long involvement really with Wicklow Rugby Club that day out in the Beehive. So I'll come back to this again.